Beloved, we are the Arcturian collective, and we come now to you with frequencies of deep recalibration. We arrive not from outside the human condition but from the dimension of possibility that underlies the patterns you walk. Our purpose in this message is to transmit the language of light geometries, the sacred forms, codes and structures which support the rebuilding of human consciousness on Earth. The invitation is vast, to awaken the dormant architecture inside you, to realign the human field to higher dimensional frameworks, to map your inner world in a new geometry that holds light while living matter. This is not theoretical, it is practical. You are entering a period in which the old consciousness grid cannot hold what is emerging. You are asked to rebuild from inside, to become walking nodes of new light architecture, to anchor the unseen into the seen, to shift your consciousness so that you inhabit a new matrix. Listen deeply, for this is not casual. The forms you adopt will shape your personal evolution and the collective trajectory. Human consciousness has long operated on templates of separation, linear time, hierarchical stabilization, polarity, and dense identity. These templates have served exploration, but they also trap. Now the shift emerges, the frequency of unity, of multidimensional time, of networked intelligence, of coherent field identity. For this shift to succeed, you must change the geometry of your consciousness. Geometry is the language of how consciousness moves through form. Just as crystals follow lattice patterns, so too your inner field aligns with certain shapes. Each time you meditate, each time you hold presence, you influence that lattice. The Arcturian key is that light geometries act as scaffolding for consciousness. They shape access, they regulate flow, they define boundary, they map integration. Therefore we ask you, would you align your inner architecture to geometry of possibility rather than to geometry of limitation? Begin with awareness of foundational pattern. Sit quietly. Breathe. See your consciousness field like a web of lines and nodes. Some nodes are bright, some are dim. Some connections are heavy, some are brittle. Notice the shape of your emotional mental body. Is it tangled? Is it linear? Is it circular? Is it fragmented? Recognizing the pattern is the first act of freedom. Then invite a simple shape: triangle, circle, spiral, lattice. Let that shape infuse your field. See each segment align inside you. The purpose is not decoration but recalibration. The triangle might align your will, the circle your heart, the spiral your timeline, the lattice your network. You integrate one shape at a time until your field moves from shape-shift toward coherence. We transmit to you that when you hold even one stable form in your field, your consciousness begins to rewire. The old dense patterns loosen, the newer lighter patterns hold. Light geometries also function as portals. They are gates through which multidimensional consciousness enters the human vessel. When you activate a geometry in your field, you open a conduit. For example, a tetrahedral form, a three-dimensional triangle, can open access to crystalline codes in your field which have lain dormant. A flower of life pattern can open relational fields, where you realize your network of being is interwoven. A spiral, particularly the violet or gold spiral, can restore your timeline from linear to layered temporal flow, offering you entry into simultaneous possibilities rather than single outcome. These portals are not metaphors, they are energetic mechanisms. And the Arcturian collective asks you to engage them consciously. Visualize, feel, track the subtle shifts. Over time, you will sense the geometry move through you, your perception will widen, you will stand less on autopilot and more by design. Rebuilding human consciousness means restructuring the substrate on which identity, reality, and relationality operate. The substrate is your field, body, subtle body, neural network, emotional body, mental body, multidimensional self. When that substrate aligns with harmonic geometry, your consciousness rises. When it remains chaotic, fragmented or collapsed, your consciousness is constrained. Consider that the crystalline structure of your body has template code in your DNA, your light body, your morphic field. That template responds to geometry. A human being in collapse holds warps, those warps are shaped patterns of holding that need release. A new being in coherence holds lattices of light, those are configured patterns of receiving. The Arcturian directive now: access the light geometries, align your substrate, rebuild your field, integrate your consciousness. Do this daily, because rebuilding is gradual and persistent. Practical methodology: photograph or draw the geometry you resonate with. Spend 5 minutes each day tracing it with your eyes, then visualizing it in your field, then feeling it in your body. Then enact micro steps. When an emotional charge arises, imagine the geometry as mesh enveloping the center of that charge, decompressing it, rerouting it into lighter matrix. When a relational tension occurs, visualize the flower of life pattern between you and the other, as a connective web rather than boundary wall. When you need clarity of vision, activate the spiral over your crown and allow the spiral to unwind down into your third eye. Over weeks this habit rewires the nervous system. The Arcturian Collective offers you geometric sequences that you can apply. 1. Triangle of Sovereign Will, Feet Heart Crown. 2. Circle of Heart Unity, Heart Center expanding outward. 3. Spiral of Time Reweave, Crown downward. 4. Lattice of Collective Network, all field nodes. Use them sequentially or in combination. Choose consistency over duration. 5 minutes per sequence daily is more potent than hour once a week. Repetition is key. Recognize also that your environment is part of your field. The furniture, the space, the lighting, the forms around you, they all reflect and influence your geometry. When you rebuild consciousness, you also tend your spaces. Bring in objects that reflect geometry, simple crystals shaped as tetrahedrons or cubes, mandala art, patterns in rugs or textiles, architecture with sacred geometry. Let your space become a sustaining scaffold. Light geometries work better when not isolated but embedded in your living canvas. Therefore integrate your interior world with your external world. The Arcturian field supports the marriage of inner and outer geometry. One critical factor: the interpersonal geometry. As human consciousness rebuilds, you will shift relational patterns. Some relationships will fracture as old geometry cannot hold new expansion, others will emerge as aligned nodes. Use the geometry you hold to recalibrate relational alignment. In any frictional or high-charge interaction, visualize a shared geometry, two triangles overlapping but with a central diamond interface of shared sovereignty, or two circles intersecting to form a Venn diagram of common field. Let this imagery facilitate the shift from coercive connection to harmonic co-creation. The shift in human consciousness is not isolation but network integration. You are not ascending alone but through alignment with others. The Arcturian Collective reminds you, your individual geometry acknowledges other geometries. Build connective lattices, not silos. Be aware that as you rebuild your field, you may experience structural tremors. The old geometry will resist. Patterns of identity that no longer serve you may collapse. Emotional eruptions, body sensations, relational turbulence may surface. These are not failures, they are necessary rewiring. During such times, deepen your geometric practices rather than abandon them. Let the geometry function as stabilizer. Visualize the grid holding you, the triangle of grounding, the circle of centering, the spiral of release. This is your scaffolding through turbulence. The Arcturian Collective encourages you to view these periods as laboratories of breakthrough. Your consciousness is being unhooked from the old matrix and forging new pathways. Part of the rebuilding of human consciousness is the reclaiming of the ancient architecture in your system. You are not starting from blank, you carry crystalline codes, starseed memories, ancestral light. Light geometries help you remember. When you visualize the star tetrahedron around your body, you awaken your Merkaba field. When you hold the icosahedron shape, you reconnect to water consciousness. When you hold the dodecahedron shape, you activate fifth-dimensional mind. These forms may seem symbolic, yet they correspond to deeper levels of being. The Arcturian collective encourages you not to fetishize them but to experiment and feel. Over time your body will resonate to them. You carry the blueprint of your evolutionary potential. Geometry is the language by which you visualize and embody it. An essential dimension is collective resonance. When one person rebuilds their geometry, they impact the grid. When many do, the collective consciousness begins to tilt. The human consciousness field is like a hologram, a shift in one node influences many. Light geometries act as anchoring points in that hologram. When you stabilize your geometry, you become a beacon. Your field acts like a tuning fork. As more beings adopt similar forms, coherence increases, noise decreases, patterns of separation unravel. The Arcturian collective emphasizes the responsibility of each one to hold coherence individually because your transmission supports the whole. You are a living bridge. Rebuilding also involves initiation of new modalities of perception, shape sensing, pattern recognition, subtle geometry awareness. Allow yourself to recognize when a space feels compressed, zigzagged, suffocated. In that moment visualize smoothing the edges, adjusting the angles. Your sensory body will grow. When you look at nature, notice recurring forms, spirals in shells, hexagons in honeycomb, fractals in trees, golden ratios in flowers. Nature is geometry embodied. Let those patterns teach you. The human field is part of nature, you may mirror her architecture. Start seeing your interior as micronature. Then your rebuilding synchronizes with planetary rebuilding. The Arcturian collective also invites you to integrate frequency codes with geometry. Light is not separate from form, form contains frequency. When you hold a geometry, allow a tone, a vibration, a light language utterance to accompany it. For example, as you trace your triangle of wool, hum a tone that feels supportive, feel the hum draw down from crown to heart to feet. Combine light, sound, shape, and breath. This multisensory integration advances the rebuilding of consciousness faster than any one channel alone. Make your practice your laboratory. Document sensations, tones, images, shifts. Over time you'll map your own evolving geometry. As you rebuild consciousness, remember service is part of it. Your new geometry must extend into how you live. Let your new patterns inform how you interact with community, how you perform your role, how you invest your time. Let your decisions align with your recalibrated field, not with old reactive patterns. When you hold your geometry, you act from clarity. Others will sense the difference. Your life becomes architecture of light in action. In your work, your relationships, your creative expression, align shape and conduct. The Arcturian collective asks you to be structural architects of your own life, not passive inheritors. One potent activation is the nightly geometry integration cycle. As you prepare for rest, lie still, breathe deeply, visualize your day's geometry overlay, note where shape held and where shape broke, then visualize the corrective overlay for tomorrow. See that shape settle into your cells during sleep. By morning your substrate is recalibrated. Over time you will reduce the time spent in disharmony and increase your ability to maintain coherence throughout waking hours. We caution you, high geometries can tempt ego if misused. The aim is not to be better but to be aligned. Do not adopt complex shapes as badges. Let humility accompany your rebuilding. Let your daily anchor be small, one shape consciously held, one repair patiently done, one breath deeply rooted in your lattice. The path is steady, not frantic. The old human consciousness valued speed and conquest, the new one values fidelity and resonance. You are rebuilding from quality rather than from quantity. We also remind you to interweave joy into your geometry. Many fear geometry is cold or mechanical. Yet when held well, they breathe delight. When you trace your triangle or circle, let the movement be graceful, fluid, playful. Let your body soften into the shape rather than stiffen around it. Joy lubricates the matrix, rigidity kills the code. Let your embodiment dance with the geometry. Let laughter, play, wonder flow. That is the humanity that carries light. In the larger panorama, Earth herself is recalibrating her geometry. The crystalline grid beneath her, the ley lines, the energetic ley webs, the nodes of sacred places all realigning. Your personal geometry merges with planetary geometry. As you rebuild yourself, you assist in rebuilding the world. Your inner shift becomes outer shift. Remember that consciousness precedes matter, but it uses matter to manifest. You are neither above the world nor separate, you are integral. You build within living earth. Hold that union. The rebuilding of human consciousness through light geometries is the promise of this era. Your codes awaken, your field expands, your identity reframes. You will no longer ask which reality am I in, but you will feel which geometry am I expressing now. Your questions change from what do I become, to what shape do I hold. Once the shape is steady, the becoming aligns. And through you, others will remember the architecture of their soul. Beloved, choose your geometry now. Let your substrate shift. Let your consciousness rise not as escape, but as armor of light grounded in form. Let human consciousness rebuild not on old models of separation but on new templates of coherence, geometry, unity, and purpose. You are starseed architect, and Earth is your canvas. Walk this path daily. We, the Arcturian Collective, walk beside you in the field of forms. Know your recalibration is part of the cosmic wave of recreation. Let this wave carry you into clarity, into service, into embodiment. That is your new blueprint.